Hello, guys, and welcome back to another Big Brother episode review. And today we are looking at episode 7, which encompassed the end of the live eviction night and all of Saturday, so days 6/7. A lot of stuff happened, but then again, not much happened. There wasn't a lot of interesting content in this episode, mostly because Saturday, I guess, is their kind of day off where they don't really do much and they don't set any challenges as such. But there just was an overwhelming feeling of there's not really much going on in this episode, which it was still entertaining. It was still something to watch, but there's not an awful lot to talk about. So let's get straight in to the first topic, which is the controversy surrounding Farida's exit. Now, we noticed this when Farida was evicted, that a lot of people went up to Kerry first before they went up to Farida, and that got on Trish's nerves. She thought that that was not okay, and Noki kind of backed her up on that. She was kind of saying that they should have gone to Farida first because Farida was leaving, and then they had all the time in the world to console Kerry. And Olivia was making an argument of I made my allegiance. I didn't really I had no feelings, so I didn't want to say goodbye necessarily, or I didn't want to go over to her. My allegiance is with Kerry. And I understood what she was saying, but I still felt that it was just a little bit mean girl, if I'm being honest. I thought that the whole situation was just not handled very well, and it was disappointing to see from Olivia. I think Trish and Noki definitely had a point, and Kerry kind of just was there because obviously she's always there when Olivia's having a disagreement with someone. I'm just gonna talk about a few sort of smaller moments within the episode that kind of didn't really amount to anything, but they were just interesting things that I noted down. The first one was Matty talking about him being in an open relationship with his partner. And I thought it was quite interesting. He spoke about how he feels that it kind of prevents cheating or something along those lines. I'm going to be perfectly honest, I didn't really understand what he was saying because he kept on talking it was a little bit confusing, and I could feel everyone else around the table getting a little bit confused, and so he kept going back and explaining himself, but then that was just making it more confusing, and it was just a big confusing moment. The next one was Jenkin talking to Chanel and Tom and saying that really the only people that he would want to be friends with on the outside world are Chanel, Tom, and Paul. Of all people, I was not expecting Paul to be the one that they mentioned. That just seemed like a really, really rogue shout from him, and I didn't really know where that was going. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people know by now, but on the outside world, Paul is apparently not a very nice person, and on his social media, which has obviously been privatized due to um, the sort of ITV guidelines. Apparently, he's posted some homophobic things in the past. He's not been very nice to the LGBTQ society. So it just, I wonder whether Jenkins knows that. Apparently, on a live stream, Paul said that it's really, really hard to be a white straight male, and oh, when you just wanna I can't like Paul. I actually can't. I've tried, but he actually doesn't do anything for me. And that brings me on to my next point, which is Paul just for no apparent reason dragged Olivia and Noki out of bed, took the bed sheets and dragged them out of the bed. I'm pretty sure that Noki hit her head. She said that she got a concussion, but I think she was just joking. But they were saying no, 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 stop, and he was just doing it anyway. So like I don't like the guy at all. I don't think he's a very nice person, and I hope he's up for elimination next week. Maybe Trish and Jordan had a point last week. The biggest drama in this episode was most definitely the food problem. Now, as you remember, 2 days previously, so this was day 5. Was it day 5? Yeah, it was day 5. Day 5 was when they were given the shopping list, which I'm assuming they received on day 6. I think they received it on day 6, which was the day of Farida's exit. So the day after, which is when this episode was happening, Dylan was already saying that there are food shortages and that he thinks within a day or two they're going to have run out of food. Now, as far as we're aware, they ordered a loaf of bread each, which I don't know about you, but I do not go through a loaf of bread in a week. Maybe if I'm having sandwiches every single day and toast in the morning, fair enough. But like a loaf is a lot. So I feel like there's food to be made, and I feel like they are now realizing how important it is to have group meals, because Paul was very vocal about this, but he was saying that he feels like there are groups forming in the house, and by groups he means Yinran, Henry, Jordan, Trish, who have made this little foursome, and they cook for each other and they just don't really engage with people outside of that group as a group. When they're in that group, it feels like it's closed off. That's what they were saying. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, especially in sort of this kind of Big Brother where allegiances and alliances mean nothing because it's the public say at the end of the day. If this was American Big Brother, alliances are deadly. If you have an alliance of 4, that's 4 votes that could essentially get you eliminated. But in this house, the most they can do is put you up for nomination. But they're not allowed to talk about nominations. So there's not really an issue outside of they're hogging the food or they're cooking for themselves and not really worrying about anybody else. And there was also an interesting point brought up. Dylan was the one that was bringing this up to Trish and was basically saying, don't keep cooking food just to snack, because apparently Trish has been having lamb chops and like pasta at like 2 a.m, and I just think that's crazy. Like I'm very much a person that can easily snack on chicken nuggets and chips or at like 2 a.m, but that's when it's your own food. When it's the house's food and you're snacking on meals, that can become a little bit of a problem, and I can understand where some of the housemates were coming from. So yeah, maybe they'll just have to cut the snacking out a little bit. One of the most entertaining parts of the episode had to be when Chanel was given a secret task to backhand compliment some of her housemates. So she went up to Kerry and was asked to backhand compliment the jumper. She said it looked like it was from a circus. Kerry took it quite well and was joking about with it, so that seemed quite light. Then she was asked to go out to see Matty and sort of talk about his hat, and she said that he looked like the rabbit from Wallace and Gromit, and then he pulled the face, and I went, oh my god, he actually does look like the rabbit from Wallace and Gromit. That's crazy. Then she had to go sort of backhand compliment Jenkins' accent, and I don't think she backhand complimented him. I think she just said that I don't like your accent. Even though she's Welsh, she said that he had an annoying accent, which was actually quite funny. It was really funny, and I feel like he took it very much to heart, and he didn't sort of joke around with it and find it very funny. He was fine later when he found out that it was all sort of a secret task from Big Brother, but at the time I feel like he was actually pretty annoyed. The next person was Jordan, and Chanel, pretty hilariously, misheard Big Brother and thought that Big Brother had asked to backhand compliment his style, not his smile. And so, bless him, she started out by like talking about his shirt, and he was so sort of embarrassed about it that he went and changed his shirt. He actually is the cutest thing ever, and I just, big love to Jordan. He's so, so sweet. And then the last person that she had to sort of backhand compliment was Dylan. And at the time, Dylan was doing Zach's hair, sort of trimming up the back of it. And she was just making out that he was doing a really, really bad job, which was so, so funny. In my opinion, I feel like Chanel didn't quite complete the task, but she was given a jar, like a massive jar of sweets anyway, to sort of compensate for the fact that she'd had to go round and make people like a little bit pissed off. And I feel like the house took it quite well, especially when they found out that it was all just a prank and it was all sort of a secret mission from Big Brother. But it was actually one of the more entertaining parts of the episode. I've just really got 3 more bits of just little scenes that we saw throughout the episode. One of them was Trish talking to Olivia about the whole situation that had started earlier on in the episode. It felt very sort of amicable by the end of it, but it was quite funny to see that they kicked Kerry out of the bedroom. Like, Kerry walked in and she went, "Oh, should I leave?" "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh, okay, bye." But I just found it really weird that they chose the biggest room in the entire house to have this discussion, and especially the room where they know people are going to want to come in. So like it felt a bit odd, if you know what I mean. The second scene that I noticed was when Henry was talking to Kerry near the end of the episode, and Kerry was trying to sort of matchmake a little bit. She saw the way that Henry was looking at Jordan and basically asked him whether Jordan was his type. And oh my god, this is like a Tory heartstopper, and I kind of am a little bit obsessed with it. Like, I know I shouldn't like Henry, but like, he is so sweet and so cute, and the fact that he could have a potential thing with Jordan is kind of making my heart melt a little bit. It is just a touch. And the final scene that I want to talk about was when Gnocchi made a big drama out of this. Gotta come into the living room. Come on, guys, quick. Like, scaring everyone to the point of like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? And then she handed out the family photographs. And I gotta be honest, they were all being a little bit dramatic. They only saw them last week. It's only been a week. They've been in the house a week. And they're already getting teary-eyed. Like, have they never been on holiday away from their families? Like, actually, what's going on? Because some of it felt real, some of it felt a bit performative. And I find that with a lot of sort of shows where they give them like, oh, family stuff. Like, sometimes it does feel genuine, it does feel real, but sometimes I'm just like, you've only been gone a week. Like, how can you be missing them that much? Now it's time for some iconic quotes and moments, and the first one was incredibly funny. Henry and Jordan were sort of thinking back on their time with Farida. They went over to her bed and...
This was it.
Should we say a few words, or...?
No. She wouldn't have listened to them.
I was actually in tears laughing at that because it was the funniest thing, and he just comes out with like these witty one-liners with a straight face. Doesn't even crack. The next one was Jenkin. He was in the diary room and he was talking about the food issue, and he said the iconic line of, "All I wanted was a Kinder Bueno." I know, Jenkin. I've been there too. Sometimes all I want at 2 a.m. in the morning is a Kinder Bueno, and sometimes I've run out. It's a tough life, isn't it? It's a tough life. The next iconic quote was when Chanel was talking to Jordan about his style, and she said that he looked good. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, Oh no, she offered him some food and he said, I'm dieting, thank you. I've got to look good for my eviction next week. Again, he just comes out with these witty one-liners that catch me completely off guard. And this was just another moment of pure brilliance from him. So yeah, really enjoying Jordan at the moment. Speaking of Jordan, we've got one final iconic Jordan moment, and it has to be during the family photos. Everyone's gotten photos of their families, their parents, their boyfriends, their girlfriends. Jordan's got a picture of Seville because he really likes Seville, and he would rather have that above his bed than his mother looking down on him. It was so funny. It was genuinely so funny to see him prefer to have a place rather than an actual person. And just an absolute icon. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. I will not be here for the next 2 days, but I will be uploading those episodes later on in the week. So make sure to look out for them on Wednesday and Thursday. And then hopefully I should be all caught up by next weekend. So thank you guys very, very much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care now. Keep on ranting. Bye.